Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Reach coming to you. I wanted to do a collection of my autographs that I have in my WWE Encyclopedia. WWE Encyclopedia is one of the coolest things out there to take the autograph signings and stuff like that. If you're not into, collecting figures or getting, DVDs signed or something like that, it is something that you can have, and take to all your shows and meet people. And it's a big book, but it's just not too big and bulky, and it's not going to wear you down. You can bring it with you all the time when you don't really know who you're going to be meeting. A lot of times when you go to Access, either at Wrestlemania or if you go to SummerSlam, you end up meeting people that you didn't think you were going to meet because they changed the lineups on you. Like the Sunday Access, the day of the WrestleMania, was horrible. They had people scheduled that were supposed to be there, and almost none of them were there. So it was a good thing to have the encyclopedia on hand to get some stuff signed from people like that. So this was a video that was asked of me by Rockhopper Quest on YouTube, and I thought I would just do it because there's really nothing to talk about tonight. But the book's pretty cool. It's got lots of pictures. It's got stuff on almost every wrestler that's ever been in there. Right off the bat, I had the front cover signed by, the front cover page signed by Sin Cara, 2011. I hope that this was right before his debut, so I wouldn't know who it was if it wasn't. But hopefully that is Sin Cara #1. And hopefully that is the same one that made his debut this week on SmackDown. What am I talking about? Spoilers in a freaking encyclopedia book. Oh, I marked them for a reason. I don't have to flip every page. But first one is the Bees. I met Jack Briscoe right there. A horrible story about meeting him. I did not know his brother was dead, and I asked him where his brother was. So that is not a good feeling. So we'll move on to the next one. I have Bushwhacker Luke. I met him at the ROH show in Atlanta, and he was there signing autographs for $5. It is the only autograph I've ever paid for that wasn't included like in an Access signing. And to me, if Bushwhacker Luke wants $5, I'm gonna give him $5 because a lot of my wrestling childhood memories was liking these fools, and it was cool to meet him. I had a short little conversation with him. Sort of felt bad that he didn't have anybody else sign him for him, but he'd been there for the ROH Fan Fest, and he was there the day before, so maybe everybody already got him. Right over here is an autograph that actually Yeah got for me. It is Jim Cornette. On the Camp Cornette page right there, he was able to talk to him and have a good little conversation. It was just his little in on getting a chance to talk to him. There's Candace. Sorry if I gave you a little upskirt shot there for you. On this page, I have the wrestler JTG from Crime Time, and I have the one and only Zack Ryder, Woo ×3. Haven't had a chance to meet Kurt Hawkins yet. Ryder and Hawkins were both at SummerSlam Access, but I choose them at Sergeant Slaughter instead because I already had Ryder and I didn't have anything else for Ryder to sign. Flip to the next page. We got Ezekiel Jackson. Met him at SummerSlam this year. And what's cool about this is when you're meeting somebody and you don't really know 100% about them, you can read their quick little bio before you meet them, and hopefully it'll give you something to talk about them with, or just something to look at. This page right here had the Extreme Expose, or it's got the Evolution picture right there, and I watched the Randy Orton Blu-ray today, and they had a little scene where they were shooting this. They weren't talking about it, but they showed it, and it just reminds me how cool WWE magazine covers used to be back in the day. They just don't do that anymore. They try to be all cartoony and gimmicky, and just wish they would be cool again. Goldust. He was the first guy I met at WrestleMania Access this year. Me and Luke Cage met him. It was the first booth that we went to, and honestly, when they brought out Goldust with Yoshitatsu, the line went from about 20 people down to at least 3 to 4. A lot of people left, and he looked at him in the eyes as they walked away, and I just felt bad. We were in the very front of the line, so I just was like, let's just get this over with. I don't want to disrespect him or anything like that. So I honestly didn't talk to him. I just got my thing signed by him and Yoshi, and then just went on to the next line I wanted to be in. But I tried to meet him the next day where I could actually have a real conversation with him because he was signing with his dad, but I wasn't able to get to him because that line did not move. On this page, we have the great Khali. Khali was a guy that honestly didn't want to talk to anybody. I don't know whether if his English is that horrible or whatever, but he was just into signing anything I asked him. The great Khali, anything I asked him, JTG answered. So I guess he just doesn't like people that much. But a lot of people were just walking up and getting his little piece of paper signed. They give you an access. They didn't have anything for him, so I'm sure he was pretty bored. But on this page, we got Jim Cornette again. I got Jim Cornette to sign this at the ROH show in Atlanta. Had a pretty good conversation with him, and I don't know if I would say he's the nicest guy I've ever met, but he is the guy that will talk to you the longest. Like, you have to pretty much cut him off. He doesn't care, you know, how many people are in his line, and when he signs items that you have, it's free. So I sort of felt bad that the people who were behind me were buying his books or pictures or something like that, and I was just like, oh wow, yeah, okay. And I was trying to cut it off because I felt bad because there was, you know, paying customers that wanted to talk to him then I was, you know, taking up all the time. Oops, skipped one. Right here, John Morrison. Met him at Access at SummerSlam this year. Actually, it was the first guy we met, and it was lucky that we met him because he was probably the best guy that was there in the free signings that morning. But Morrison was a cool guy to meet. Mark Henry. Right there for you. Mark Henry was probably the biggest jerk I ever met. He signed my book, and I tried to talk to him about the Olympics, and he didn't really want to talk about it. He just sort of signed it and pushed it back at me and just moved the line along. So I guess I respect your privacy, Mark Henry, and thank you very much. Over on this page, oh, I'm not going to talk about that one yet. And I think I'm going to skip. Oh, there, right there. We got Paul Bear right there. He signed a Paul Bear, Percy Pringle, because we were talking a lot about his Twitter when I was talking to him, and he signed it Percy Pringle, and then he slid it back to me, and as he was sliding it back, he noticed that he didn't sign it Paul Bear. I guess he signs both gimmicks whenever people ask, and I didn't really ask him to sign Paul Bear, and I didn't care that he signed Percy Pringle either. But as he was passing it back to me, he sort of grabbed it back, and he was like, oh, who's that guy? And I was like, I was confused. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He signed it again, Paul Bear, and then he pushed it back to me and goes, hey, I don't know who signed your book, but he signed my page on accident. And so I don't think I really got it until I got home that I guess he got his gimmicks mixed up or something like that, but I don't know, it was pretty funny. Over here, Roddy Piper, probably one of the biggest stars I've had sign this book. I got this at SummerSlam Access last year. Piper was an awesome guy to meet. He gave Luke Cage a hug, and all in all, it was a good day. Right here, Sergeant Slaughter. Got him to sign at this year's Access. I met him last year, but I had a figure for him to sign, and I knew Slaughter was going to be there, and Piper was like a surprise guest. They added him at the last minute, so I didn't have anything for him. So that was one reason. One good reason to have the Encyclopedia. I didn't know he was going to be there, and I brought it just in case, and I was able to get Piper to sign it. But we got Slaughter this year. My cards are getting mixed up. Oh, right there. We got Wendy Richter signing it right there. She met her at Access at Wrestlemania. I didn't get a chance to get Mae Young. She said that the Wrestlemania wrestlers, you know, the buses, were running late. Mae Young was on the bus, and Wendy Richter said she got her own ride there, so that's why she was there. And it was weird because a lot of the signings for this one session, a lot of them ran late, and I guess that was the reason why. From there, we'll go to William Regal. Regal is one of the nicest wrestlers that I've ever met. As you can see, he's the only one to sign it to Steven. He wrote, best wishes, William Regal. He asks you your name, shakes your hand, and actually has a conversation with you about whatever you want to talk about, this, then, or the other. And that's why he's honestly one of the nicest guys that are out there. Oh, right here, Wrestlemania 4. When I went to go meet Ted DiBiase, I'd met him the day before at Access. And it's just one of those things, when you go into a session, you run to the very first booth that you see, or you go to a certain booth. I always like to go to the Legends booth, because you always know that you're going to get a big name at those most of the time. And sometimes you don't know who the superstars are going to be, and you can end up in a line that has Goldust and Yoshitatsu, or, you know, Kurt Hawkins, or, you know, somebody like that you're not really that excited to meet. But I got in this line for Ted DiBiase, and I remember that I met him the day before. I had him sign a figure when he was signing with him and his son, and I sort of forgot, so when I got up to the booth, I had him sign the Wrestlemania 4 thing, I messed up because I could have had him signed the Ted DiBiase page or the Money Inc. page. I messed up on that, so hopefully I can meet him again and get that signed. Oop, I skipped this. I'm gonna go back to the $1 Million Man page, but there's Tamina right there for you. And then at the very end, we have the Chosen One, Drew McIntyre. Had him sign in the back, and I have Yoshitatsu, which probably has the coolest signature I've ever seen, and he puts the most into it. It honestly takes him a good couple of seconds to sign that sucker, and he goes back over it a few times, so that was pretty cool. Heath Slater is the guy that I always keep in my encyclopedia for some reason or another. I don't even know how I wound up with this card, but I always use him for a bookmark whenever I go to the shows to hold my place, so I can I find out who I'm getting signed, and then I put him in there, and then I don't have to like keep my thumb in there the whole time. So thanks for coming along, Slater. Thanks for Rock Hopper Quest for the idea on making the video. That is my WWE Encyclopedia. Those are my signatures. And I always look forward to getting more signed, and I look forward to seeing if you guys make video responses to see who you have signed yours.